Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Building Our Veggie Garden.
Hello everyone! Welcome to another episode of Building My Veggie Garden. Today, we're wondering, do you have a New Year's resolution? How about building a vegetable garden? The benefits are incredible. According to WebMD.com, your mental health will thank you because gardening makes you happy. As reported by GoBankingRates.com, your annual savings on grocery shopping after the first year of having a vegetable garden could be up to $600. As per Better Homes and Gardens, having a vegetable garden makes a positive impact on the environment by helping fight global warming. According to GardenBenches.com, gardening burns up to 300 calories per hour. As claimed by GoodHousekeeping.com, gardening helps your wellness, like controlling your high blood pressure. All of these are wonderful reasons why building a vegetable garden is right for you. Let's hear now from Laura and Josh about their resolution.
This is our veggie garden and we're located in Central Florida.
We got this garden so that we can grow food. We love eating from our garden and growing things, especially vegetables, so that we don't have to necessarily shop and we can get things that we know are organic at a cost that is much more reasonable than going to the grocery store on a regular basis. We get to meet beautiful people from our community, and it's actually a lot more cost effective than trying to grow things at home as well. So it has a lot of benefits.
And I feel like we learn a lot too, because we're always talking to each other, figuring out what the person next to us is growing, what they had success with versus what we're having success with. If we're trying a new fruit or vegetable, we'll share it with each other. The same thing if someone else is trying something new and they have abundance, they always share it with us. So it's just that, to me, is also like a really good benefit.
We get a lot of fresh spices that go into our food. We feel like it's a lot healthier as well. And it's just something that we really find to be fun. Like I genuinely enjoy growing food and growing things, new things, like our beans that I've never experienced before and never would have experienced without something like the community garden.
We've had our plot for about 2 years now. The reason why we decided to get one of these plots is we were really struggling with growing things at our home. We've tried a lot of different things. We tried to amend the soil and build up the Florida sandy soil, and it didn't really help as much. We tried growing different fruits and vegetables like cauliflower and tomatoes, and the only thing we really had success with were our banana trees. So we bought one plot originally, and we realized that we were really successful early on with a lot of the things that we were struggling with back at our home. And that's how we ended up about a season or so later with both plots. Josh is going to tell you a little bit about what we grow here and what we've been trying this season.
We grow food. That is primarily what we aim to grow here, and our real goal of being here is to grow things that we can eat so that we don't have to shop as much at the grocery store, and then we can also eat things that are fresh. And then we also get to meet a lot of people from our community, which is also awesome. So we grow things like spices, like we have rosemary and we have lemon balm. I even grow a little bit of catnip for my cat. We have a lot of different beans that we grow. So we're growing a very, very long bean that it's called a Chinese red noodle long bean, which is definitely living up to its name. So we also have your more traditional beans off to the side, your Blue Lake beans, which are kind of the traditional beans you get at the grocery store. We also grow a lot of peppers. So we like hot sauce, and we also like dried pepper. So we have a dryer at home. So we have habaneros, we have Tabascos, we have cayennes of kind of varying sizes. We have a ghost pepper plant that we have yet to actually get a ghost pepper from, but we're hopeful this season. And then we also grow a lot of squashes. So we've got one growing here, which I believe is a butternut squash. And then we also have two different types of squash growing up our little 2-level trellis here. And we use our trellis also to shade our broccoli and our cauliflower from the harsh Florida heat. And then we also have a few tomatoes of different varieties. I know we have one that's going to have like a darker black skin over here. And then we also have quite a few tomato plants kind of spread out that are more of your traditional plants, and also a couple of Cherokee purple tomatoes, which we really like in our salsas and our tomato sauces. They give a more vibrant flavor than some of your traditional tomatoes. So we grow a little bit of everything that we can eat, and it's something that we really enjoy, and we try to incorporate something new into every season while we're growing.
So I'm a teacher, and every year, it doesn't matter what grade you're in, there's always a little component about plants and plant structures, and I found the most engaging way to teach that is by having the students plant and learning what the system looks like as it's growing. So I felt like the best way to do that is to actually learn myself and try different things, so that way I can take it back to the classroom. This past summer/fall, we tried to grow one of Florida's biggest pumpkins. And although there were some hiccups and we were unsuccessful, it was something I could bring back to my classroom and show them this was something that was an attempt, but at the same time, we weren't successful, and that's okay. So we're learning, failure is okay. We're learning to take experiments and take chances. And then we're also learning about nature. So there's so many different ways that you can bring the garden into the classroom that I didn't expect until I was doing it.
One of the biggest difficulties we've experienced throughout our few years of gardening between home and between the community garden is soil quality. Especially when you're dealing with a lot of things like sand. So when we came here, we knew a lot about the difficulties we've experienced and what we wanted to do. So the community provided some dirt for us, and then we went out and got a few kind of soil additives, kind of like manure and things that increase the particular vitamins that we're looking for our plants. And we mixed that in and kind of rotated the soil through, making sure to remove any roots or anything we noticed while we were doing that. And then once we'd finished rotating everything and making sure it was thoroughly mixed, we got a good coverage of mulch, because we found that helps retain a lot of moisture while the Florida sun hits us during the day. So that has really helped decrease the amount of water we have to put into the plants, so it helps us be efficient as well. I feel like one of the things I would tell a new gardener is that if you are considering getting into gardening, it's more rewarding than you might actually think it is. And it's something that's really difficult to explain to somebody that hasn't grown something and eaten it themselves, just picked it right off of the plant the same day and gone home and cut it up and made it. It's a very different type of rewarding, and it definitely does taste better than the things that you can find in the grocery store as well.
So to piggyback off of that, I definitely agree with him. Eating something that you pull from a plant is a whole different taste compared to what you pick up from the grocery store. And it may be challenging, especially as a beginning gardener. I remember feeling frustrated when I would have 7 tomatoes out of 12 tomato plants for the entire season, and it was barely enough to make a salad. But one thing I want to recommend is, find out what grows easily in your area. It may not be the tomato that you pick at the grocery store, like aroma tomato. It may be a different type of tomato that you've never tried before. We've learned that one of our favorite tomatoes is actually an heirloom tomato that you don't really find at the grocery store that often, but it does amazing in the type of climate that we live in. So we've just, with research and with trial and error, we've learned, what works best for us and for our area. And I'm sure with just a little bit of time, you guys can figure it out as well.
So this large green structure is our latest experiment in our garden, because as a gardener, you always have to be adapting and figuring out ways to maximize how much food you get out of your plot. We saw something similar to this while we were visiting her grandparents in New York. A lot of people growing things in their front yard with vines that would kind of grow over and fruit that would hang. So we knew that squash like to climb structures. So what we decided is that we could plant things like cauliflower and broccoli that don't like the Florida sun as much a little bit earlier if we created something over them that would shade them through the really hot part of the day. And we've had a lot of good success because you can notice how much smaller these cauliflower plants are than the broccoli plant on the corner over there that's been shaded a lot, and even the one behind it. So as these grow over, they're going to offer more shade, and as we plant more cauliflower to stagger it through the season, they'll be able to grow larger quicker because they won't be beaten by the heat as much. And this has been so successful that it has kind of inspired our next step, which is we're going to create a trellis for our beans that is actually going to create an arch and go over from one side to the other. So that way the beans, because they've reached the top of our current poles, can kind of grow up and over, and then we'll even be able to harvest beans from the arch. So it'll kind of be a cool effect as well. Thank you for stopping into our veggie garden. Definitely stop by next time and keep a look for our new trellis once we have it set up, and we'll definitely have more stories and things to tell you that we've learned. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can see more in the future.
Thank you for welcoming us into your vegetable garden.
Bye.
Now let's start your New Year's resolution with some impressive lights. The lights of a wonderful vegetable garden. As always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our social media channels. See you next time.